Invictus my kings, and welcome to Top 5 Smartest Total War AI. And I know it might seem like a little bit of an oxymoron talking about smart AI and Total War in the same sentence, but the series has actually come a long way since its beginning when it comes to the decision making and overall the quality of the AI. It might not always seem like it, but it's definitely come a long way, so let's take a look at the Top 5 Smartest Total War AI. Number 5 on the list is Napoleon Total War, and mostly because how much of an improvement it is compared to Empire Total War, let's be honest here. But the AI on the campaign, it can relatively decently fight defensively, but mostly fight offensively. It's actually relatively decent waging offensive wars. Not that competent at actually seeing them to fruition though, but it's relatively decent when it comes to at least initiating them. The diplomacy is a little bit of a joke, but overall not too bad. And on the battlefield side of things, the enemy can know how to line up, they know how to fire straight. They do get quite a lot of cheats on the campaign map, but on the battlefield not that many. It's ultimately overall not a bad experience, and definitely better than Empire Total War. Number 4 is the Total War Saga Troy, and by the same extent also Pharaoh or Total War Pharaoh. And you see a little bit of a more modern design here. The AI definitely knows how to grow an empire. It reacts to events around it. It knows how to handle the systems relatively well. It's still a little bit clumsy on the battlefield and doesn't know how to handle some of the more mythic units in terms of the Mythos DLC, but overall not that bad, relatively good, better than Napoleon, but not as good as the Total War titles coming up next. Next on our list is Total War Attila, and you can definitely see a lot more activity in this game than the previous ones, and even, for example, Rome 2, the direct predecessor of Total War Attila, the AI is much more active. It definitely wages offensive wars much more assertively and aggressively. It wages defensive wars much more better. It definitely tries to strike at you from the shadows, tries to pull surprise attacks, it tries to be a little bit less predictable. Not always completely successfully, obviously, and it's never going to be as good as the player, but it definitely seems like it's trying to be a little bit more rational and a little bit better when it comes to actually waging wars, actually interacting with the different systems that are in the game, not always successfully again, but it at least tries, and that's really impressive considering we are talking about Total War AI. Next is Total War 3 Kingdoms, and mostly because of the campaign map and the AI on the campaign. A lot of it has to do with the brilliant diplomacy that the campaign has on offer, and the AI really know how to interact with it. It tries to form coalitions, it tries to put the player under a lot of pressure, it tries to actually act rationally, and there are a lot of good examples in this game of very in-depth AI. For example, Cao Cao, a really very strong AI faction. So ultimately a number 2 and possibly a contender for number 1, but I personally believe that number 1 should definitely go to Total War Shogun 2, and this game strikes the perfect balance between not having a lot of complicated systems that the AI has to interact with, so it doesn't stumble all over itself when it comes to actually trying to figure out the systems, which was very common in this era of Total War, let's be honest here. But it also tries to put up more of a varied challenge. The AI definitely doesn't just spam one type of unit. It tries to build rational armies like the player would. It tries to formulate a rational plan of advance. It tries to actually build an empire somewhat that would withstand the player's attack. Now, sometimes you see a little bit more of a successful AI where it even conquers half the map. Sometimes the AI can just fragment and stay fragmented when it comes to the Isles of Japan, but it definitely knows how to put up a challenge on both on the battlefield and on the campaign, disregarding obviously the Realm Divide mechanic. Even before Realm Divide, the AI on the campaign map can be very challenging if approached by a newer player, and on the battlefield it's one of the greatest, well, it is the best the best AI that Total War ever produced. It can use its terrain to its advantage. It can use its various units on the terrain to a pretty decent result. It just knows what it's doing. It almost seems like you're playing against a human. Not quite, obviously. That was an exaggeration. But it's definitely better than what came before, that's for sure. And sometimes even what came after, which is a little disappointing, but it is what it is. Anyway, I want to thank you, Kings, for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. Please subscribe, comment, like, all that. And I will see you next time.